It's the final countdown.
Is it?
Dun-dun-dun.
What are we counting down?
Dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. What's up, Clint? How you doing?
I don't know. Apparently, it's the final
It
countdown.
is. It's the final countdown because this is
Uh,
episode 195. I was wrong last week on the podcast when I said it was 193. Yeah, I
I've been
corrected you
married
and I was
twice, and
wrong.
I've been married twice. I don't hear that a lot, where someone admits they were wrong.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I
I
was
appreciate
wrong.
it.
After when I went to edit it at the end of it, I'm like, oh, Dookie, I
Well,
messed
I
up.
think I was still wrong. Like I said, it was 195
Yeah, this one's
because
195. Last
this
week was 194.
191. So 195, almost.
That's right.
We're staring 200 down,
Staring it down,
coming
baby.
at it like a
Eyeballing it.
like a locomotive, my friend.
So, folks, what we need you to do for the Hog Slop podcast before we even play the music right now is you're jamming out to some fat beats you can bug out to. What do they need to do, Clint?
I, I, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
I got
I showed kids in my class the Fat Boys the other day.
it.
Fat boys.
You know,
Maybe I'm a rich man.
the guy that was the rich guy in that. I mean, it's not even his best movie, and that's a classic, Disorderlies.
That's right. Heck yeah. Anyway, what do they need to do, Clint, right now?
Oh, you need to like, share, subscribe, then go watch the Disorderlies if you can find it. Is that I
It's
don't know
out
if it's
there.
streaming.
It's out there.
You
It's
know
got to
what
be on
you
Amazon
know what's
Primers.
not you know what you can't find streaming anywhere.
What's that?
Watch it. I watched it on YouTube, like in 7 different videos. Cannonball Run.
Really?
Can you stream Cannonball Run?
Man. Well, I bet
Cannonball
Disorderlies
Run
is out
2,
there.
yeah, you can stream that, but not Cannonball Run.
I can't remember.
Cannonball Run.
Oh, well. Well, folks, get ready for the Hog Slop podcast. We got lots of stuff to talk about today, so let's get with it.
1, 2, 3, 4. You ever seen a lame man walk? Ever heard a dumb man talk? Never seen a blind man see? I promise you will change his name. You ever seen a cancer dead? Ever seen all the poor get fed? Ever seen a prisoner set free? I promise you will change his name. My Lord changes things. My Lord changes things. Can you hear me now? Church, can you hear me now? Ever seen a broken heart made whole? Ever seen an orphan find a home? Ever seen the weak find the strength? I promise you will change his name. Ever seen the sick get healed? Ever seen a mystery revealed? Ever seen a death
Yeah,
man
just like that.
raised? I promise you will change his name. Lord, change his name. My Lord, change his name.
What's up, everybody? It's time for 195 of the Hog Slop podcast. I'm your boy, bigger T, with my man, Big C, Clint, Shannon, Clark. How you doing, my friend?
Dude, it is the best day of my freaking life. It has
Best day.
been just
That's awesome.
been glorious. Had a lovely weekend. Went down to the park. Went to Riverside Park, who I think the Guadalupe River. I don't know. I'm probably mispronouncing
I
that.
don't like it, but that's all right.
It's like one of those rivers. But anyway, just right along there. Went and walked. Had a little walk, and then just for a little while. But then I got tired, and I didn't want to walk no more.
Yeah.
So I quit walking.
That happens, right? You go walk, you
Yeah.
get tired, and you stop.
Well, all right then.
That's what I
So,
do.
in your prime, how far do you think you could have made it on American Ninja Warrior? Providing
Mm,
that you could nap on you could stop and nap along the course.
I would have got wet pretty quick.
I would have just been
I'd have probably just done a cannonball into that first pool.
yeah,
Just bounced on that first thing you bounce off of, and then that's it.
yeah.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, no, and plus it doesn't even matter. Some of them things you're climbing on heights. Number one, I can't swim that great. Like I can doggy paddle at best, so hitting the water terrifying.
Terrifying. Yeah.
Heights terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I was telling somebody the story. I remember when I was like in kindergarten, we were doing the play Little Bunny Foo Foo,
Were you little
and
bunny foo foo?
I was not much to my
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah,
chagrin.
you were
I was not. No,
miscast there. You should have
yeah,
been.
no. I mean, listen. Despite what some of our classmates said, you and I both know I was probably the best actor in high school.
Well, there's one guy that would have said different. I won't say his name, but
He's
yeah,
got one eye with the red eye.
you
He
were
loves ribeye.
yeah, that's right.
So,
Yeah, you were good at it for
no,
sure.
I was good, and so it hurt as the thespian I turned out to be not to be cast as Little Bunny Foo
I
Foo.
understand. Yeah,
It was rigged. It was favoritism at its finest.
that's
But
right.
anyway, that's not the point of the story. They had us standing on those bleachers, like little 3-step bleachers, and I remember this. And I was 5'6", and my anxiety and scared and fright of heights was even like huge back then.
Yeah,
So I remember they had me on the back rows. I was always a tall kid, and I like threw a fit. Like I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I ended up getting to stand by the teacher on the ground. Like, yep, it ain't happening.
I'd have been the dumb kid dropping elbows from people from the top step.
Yeah, but you know me, when I get in my mind, I ain't doing something. It ain't happening either.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, no, I am not climbing. It's not happening. So y'all need to figure something out, but we are done here.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but I do remember that. So, yeah, unfortunately, I was not. Would you like to know who got cast as Little Bunny Foo Foo? You know him.
Really?
Yeah, you know him. You went to high school with him, graduated with us.
Really?
Yep.
Who's that?
Jason Burrows. Jason Burrows.
He would have been a good little buddy
Yeah.
foo foo.
Yeah.
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 That was
You know what? I'm not listen, I'm not salty about it. I've never sent him a Christmas card for that very reason. I doubt he listens to this podcast. But yeah.
yeah. You know, when I think of Jason Burrows, and like I said, he's probably not going to, but those that graduated Greenbrier '94, I think of he was the Greenbrier basketball version of Arlen Bowers.
Oh
Remember
yeah.
Arlen Bowers played for the Hogs?
Yeah.
Looked like he should have been playing cornerback, but was out there playing like two guard for defending the point guard of the other team. Yeah.
Jason was a heck of an athlete. He was
Oh yeah.
always he was always the fastest guy. He'd run races and all that. They, had us all doing competitive stuff, and he was always like
Yeah.
the fastest
Oh
guy
yeah.
in any class. Like when they would do relay races, whoever had Jason on their team was going to win.
Yeah.
It
I
just
was
got
always he was one of those. I mean, there was a few of those basketball guys that didn't play football that I wish would have, anyway.
I think he went out for one spring and then decided it just wasn't for him.
Yeah.
Of course, back then
That's all right.
you didn't strap the pads on during spring.
Yeah.
Back when we were in school, and I think that would have made a difference if some of these guys would have got out there and got hit and
Yeah.
got two hit.
And saw they could do it. Yeah.
Yes, all they could do it because
Yeah.
that anxiety builds up.
Yeah.
Like, anyway,
Well, but our basketball team was pretty good back then, so he was probably
was.
stayed with the sport that, they didn't make the championship in our junior year there, so lost in a heartbreaker. But anyway, Clint, man, it's been a crazy week for sports, for all kinds of stuff.
Been nuts. It's
Um,
been
the number one Arkansas Razorbacks went down to Georgia and played were they number 7?
number 7. I'm sure they're higher now.
Yeah, Georgia Bulldogs. And the first game did what we should have done.
Well, that game was tight till the ninth. I mean, none of the games were just. I mean, that one got away from Georgia.
Yeah,
But I mean, I think
yeah,
that
it was it was closer than the score kind of showed at the end.
I
But
mean, that was. I mean, as far as like there's 10-run games that are whipping, and that one was not a 10-run
yeah,
game. But,
our offense got rolling there at the end and kind of
Yeah.
made it look a little better for us. But then those next two games, man, the Hogs fought hard, but just couldn't do it, man. Just couldn't couldn't finish it. I thought they were going to, especially that last game. I thought, okay, we're gonna get the rubber match. We're gonna win the series, and I love the way we're playing some good small ball. We're laying down, I forget who it was that laid down that bunt. Uh, toward the end there. Did a great job on that. You know,
Well, you know what I really think the problem is, Travis.
I think it was Helfrich, by the way.
Maybe I think the problem is you Dave Van Horn ain't pulling the hook soon enough on some of the starters.
Yeah,
I think the bullpen, like I'm like, if we get into a bullpen game, I like our chances
yeah,
9 times out of 10.
yeah.
Uh, I mean, you're talking Aiden Jimenez. He looked fantastic on both nights I saw him pitch. I think he pitched Friday and he pitched again Sunday. Now,
Mhm.
I think he may have took the loss. I know he was in line for the win, and then he gave up. He had it down to like the last out, and then couldn't finish it. I think he hit a guy, and then
Yeah,
guy hit a shot off of him, and then they ended up winning it the next inning. Um, but when he gets in the bullpen, that's where we're at the best. And he's leaving. He left like Gackle in longer than he should have. I think Gackle gave up 5, 6 runs on Saturday.
hmm,
I don't understand why he didn't go to one of the long relievers well before that, and maybe if he thought Gage would have been healthy, maybe he would. Because
hmm.
this bullpen is without Gage Wood and Parker Coyle right now, and so that may be part of the decision to maybe leave them out there a little bit longer. But that's and Dave Van Horn's forgot more about baseball
Yeah,
last night than I know in my entire life. So
yeah,
I'm not sitting here, but that's my 2 cents because I
yeah.
have
I agree with you. I think the depth of the pitching's good, but one of the things that hurts us too is we don't have that guy. You don't have the guy. You don't have a Hagen Smith. You don't have the guy that's going to go out there and eat up 7 innings, 6, 7 innings of start. Going to throw just awesome ball for one of those, and so you're having to go into the pen. I think he's trying to get that out of some of these guys, and I think he's willing to let them go longer because the offense is better because our hitting is
yeah.
pretty daggum good. I mean, our batting averages are all decent. Are good. I hate to say decent. I mean, Cam Kozel's batting 393. Okay. Uh, Davion is 386. Uh, Kahua Aloy is 372. Wahiva Aloy is 361. I mean, Maxwell is 356. Heffrick 313. Iredale's 307. To get below 200, 300, you got Justin Thomas and Souza.
And
So,
Susan's out, and Susan's going to be out for the season.
oh, is he?
Yes.
So, yeah. So, it's, but the depth, like you said, man, and it's just little simple things too. Like Wiggins came in that last game throwing smoke, man, throwing 101, 100 miles an hour. But then he hits a guy. Then he throws it, goes to a pickoff move over to first, throws it away. The guy moves over to second. Then the guy steals third. And then Georgia hits a pop fly, gets him in, scores a run on us. If
But
that hadn't happened, if those air, if that first of all, if he hadn't hit the guy, then if he hadn't have messed up on the, trying to pick off, the pickoff move, who knows? I mean, we might have ended up winning that game. Now I'm not just putting it all on Wiggins, but I'm just saying
no, no.
it's just little mistakes like that are killing this team right now. And
But
and hey, but we forced Georgia to make more mistakes than they've made all year. They're a team that didn't have a lot of errors this year, and we forced them into making a lot of mistakes with the way we played.
But Travis, have you seen the schedule the rest of the year?
Oh my gosh.
The brute. Okay, first off, we get UAPB this weekend. I mean,
Thank the Lord for that one. Yeah.
we appreciate you, little brother. We're probably going to take you up behind the woodshed.
Yeah. Let's get some people rested for that one. Yeah.
So, and then they got A&M, and no, A&M is
Who's getting hot right now?
they've not had the season they thought they would, but they are getting hot,
Well,
and
they're starting to live up to those preseason expectations now,
they
which
are
is
the
scary.
preseason number one.
Yeah.
Now, then you got to go to Gainesville. We always have a tough time in
Well, you
Gainesville.
got two against Little Rock and
Yeah,
Fayetteville, which
yeah,
that's little brother, but Little Rock's going to be up for those games. They're not going they're going Little Rock's not having a great year, but they're getting better as the year goes on. So that those will, and you know how it is. They're going to play hard against the big school up north.
yeah.
And then like you say Gainesville.
Gainesville, and I'm not saying I think they're ranked, but I'm not sure where. I think they're like 17, 18. Then we got to go to Missouri State, and that will be our last.
Who beat us earlier in the year, right?
It's earlier, be our last non-conference game,
Mm-hmm.
and then you've got a home series against who was the number 2 team in the country, the Texas Longhorns.
Yeah.
Then you go to Baton Rouge, who I guess I do
Operator wants to put me on through. I said, my love, that bit. Sorry.
Baton Rouge. Hurry up. Oh no, and who I believe like number 3. And then you end the season hosting Tennessee.
Yeah. He's always tough on us.
So I mean, it's unrealistic to think you're going to go through all that, including Georgia, who this week was number 7, who had been up as high as number 4, to go through all that unscathed.
Yeah.
It was going to happen. I mean, if you win your home series and you lose your road series 1-2, you're probably still going to be a top 3 seed nationally.
Yeah.
That is a murderer's road schedule.
Yep.
That is what the SEC is in football. It is every bit of that in baseball. I mean, in football and basketball, it is every bit of that in baseball.
Yep.
It is the depth is insane.
Yep. And you're hoping these pitchers settle in. You're hoping that you get some. I think who is it that I should have known this before we got on here, but I know he's fixing to move somebody back to the bullpen. I think it's Geichel.
Yeah, I really think you're going to see Jimenez in the rotation.
Him or Fisher.
Yeah, no, I think number 16, Aiden Jimenez, he's been one of their best pitchers. I think he's coming off of Tommy John surgery at Oregon State. Yeah. I think he transferred from Oregon State. I don't want to talk about them, but
Yeah, I think you're right. I think him or Fisher. I've heard Fisher's name possibly being moved up to the starter role.
Yeah, but
he's
Gagel's
Fisher's 3-0.
He's struggling a little bit. Like I said, I thought he should have had a little bit quicker hook, but he was fantastic out of the bullpen. So who knows? Maybe that's going to be a better spot for him.
Yeah, he may just be more comfortable there. Sometimes guys they're a little more comfortable coming out of that bullpen and into situations like that and not starting the game out. But anyway,
I'm not panicking yet.
I'm not either. I like the offense. I like the way the guys are swinging the bats. There's been some guys had some down games, but then they've come right back. The Lloyd brothers had some down games, but while they were down, Kozel, Davalon, Iredale, Hefflick, some of those guys were having good games. And then now the Lloyd boys, did a little better this last couple games. So, I mean, it seems to be the bats are there. We're willing to play small ball when we need to. We're willing to run when we need to. So that's all good signs. So I think this team is still looking good. So a loss in a series to Georgia, yes, it stinks, but that's all right. It's okay, folks. This team's still got a lot of talent and a lot of good things to come for sure. Well, Clint, before we kind of we may talk a little bit about Razorback football at the end here, but I want to talk a little bit about the biggest story in college sports
I
right
know.
now.
I would. This was almost. I would say it should be in the Holy Schnikes moment of the
Yeah, it
week.
is. It is our holy Nike moment of the week, but I wanted to get baseball out of the way first because we are firstly a Razorback podcast, and we'll tie this into the Razorbacks. But uh, Nico Iamaleava, he like that. I think I got it
His
close.
brother Madden.
Madden Iamaleava is a quarterback for the Razorbacks,
Right.
but Nico was the freshman. Now fixing. Well, he's still a freshman. Was at Tennessee. Notice I said was. Unless you've lived under a rock, you've heard that somebody decided he needed more money. Word is he's making like 2.2 million, something like that.
I'd
And
heard
he
2.8, but I
something
mean,
like that in the
yeah.
2 million range. And like apparently most people say he's worth about 3.1 and he's asking for 4 million a year. And apparently they wasn't willing to do that at Tennessee, so he decided to no show practice. And so Tennessee said, Josh Heupel said, "You're not bigger than the power T," as he called it. Thanks for all you've done, but you're out. Now here was the weird thing that I was listening to some, different interviews about this. People talking, mainly Josh Pate was talking about this a lot. Apparently, the night before he didn't show up to practice, he went to a dinner with all the quarterbacks at the quarterback coach's house, was playing with the quarterback coach's kids, having a great time. Everything was fine. Everything was hunky dory. 10 hours later, he no shows practice and no longer's on the team. This is college football reality right now.
If you think it's the last time it's going to happen, you're crazy. It's not. I mean, this is. It's already happened,
Let's go. I was going to say, if you think
but
it's the first
this
time it's happened,
this is
you're
the
crazy.
highest profile player. I mean, it happened to Arkansas,
Yeah.
but with an offensive lineman. I think it was Black and Stock. I'm not 100%. I don't know. I'm not there. So please do not take it. Don't be tweeting him and saying, Big C said. No, he didn't. But that's who I think it was.
One
But
of our offensive linemen last year set out of practice because he wasn't happy with his NIL money. That was the story that
NIL dispute. Like he
denies the
wasn't
dispute.
paid.
Yeah.
Now, he, I don't know what the answer is, Travis. How do you stop this from happening?
Well, and here's what I want to do, Clint. First of all, I want to ask you this. Whose fault is this? Who's to blame? And so here's what I got: four choices for you. Ready?
Okay.
Here's the four choices. And the first one I think we can take off the board. Well, we can't take them totally off the board, but in this situation, I would say probably not much their fault. And that would be Tennessee, the
I,
school.
as much as I'd love to blame
I
Tennessee,
would love to blame them. I would love
I
to
would
put it
love
on
to.
Josh
Like
Heupel.
if this was Texas, I would love to blame Texas. It
Yeah.
does not matter. It does not matter
Yeah.
who this is.
But
This is not the university's fault.
that's one of the one that some people may throw some blame at. And I think it sounds like we both agree that's probably and when I say the other three, I think you're gonna agree with me. That's the least of the four.
No, I would. Okay, so I would give them, as far as the blame slice of the pie, 5%.
Okay. Here's the next one. The obvious one, Nico Iamaleava.
I don't know the other two. I'm assuming one's going to be the NCAA.
And
And I
the other one is Nico Iamaleava's people. Okay. The word is it's his father, and that he has some agents. And for those of you not watching this on YouTube, I'm using air quotes when I say agents because these people, from what I understand, about his people, or from what I'm hearing, I may be wrong here, but most of these guys don't have legit agents like NFL players or like someone else has. They have other people that are like family friends, other people they've just connected with that are charging them way too much money and don't really know how things really work and are not looking out for the best of the sport, like say an NFL agent that's been trained to do that with. Okay. So his people, so Tennessee, Nico, his people, or the NCAA.
Yeah, see. It, Nico is a kid that made a terrible, terrible, terrible decision.
Yeah.
Terrible decision. Terrible.
Mm.
His people are trying to just milk that kid for all he's worth.
Yeah.
And hey, guess what, Arkansas fans? His brother's on our team. You don't think we're going to have to deal with his people?
That's right.
We're
Now,
going to deal with his
those
people.
people are probably the same people that Sam Pittman and our new general manager are going to have to deal with.
And for as good as Madden is looking at practice, we better hope we're not getting him ready to practice for somebody else.
That's right.
Because I mean, I think if it was the old days, if it was 5 years ago, I think Madden's probably your starting quarterback next year.
Yeah.
I just do, but you don't know who it's going to be. He may just hop in the portal and go somewhere else. Probably not Tennessee, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I think that's safe to say. But you got to
That
watch
bridge
out
is
for
burned.
Lane. Yeah, I think that with
So who do you put the blame on the most? Who do you
the
think?
NCAA, because their idiocy has led to 90% of this mess. 90% of this NIL mess, 90% of this transfer portal mess is because you couldn't get it right. You couldn't get it right. You continually punished lesser programs and let the bigger programs get away with stuff. For example, Justin Fields. For example, Ryan Mallett. Justin Fields transfers to Georgia because he can't beat out Jake Fromm. Well, he's immediately eligible. They changed systems at Michigan. Ryan Mallett transfers to Arkansas. Well, he's ineligible. What's the difference?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the difference? You didn't like the way the wind's blowing this day and this day. You talk about what how much money was the NCAA making of Johnny Manziel jerseys and stuff like that, and Johnny couldn't take advantage of it. Like if you watch the Johnny Manziel documentary, that's how I feel about the NCAA.
Yeah.
There's no telling how much back pay I've got coming from Arkansas Tech University for all them 77 jerseys that they sell every.
Yeah.
I can't. Well, it was a good rant till that point, Travis.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the NCAA. Now this has happened, and it's going to continue to happen. How do you fix it?
Well, wait. I got to tell who I think's.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I'm with you. I'm with you. The NCAA is the key problem here. And Clint, I'm going to not hold back.
Go ahead.
They're a bunch of spineless cowards in the NCAA. The whole organization is nothing but a bunch of spineless cowards. They won't stand for anything. All they do is let other people make the decisions and they just ride with it. Right now, they're letting all this go, and they want the government to step in and set rules for their organization. And that's what people are saying is going to happen. That Congress or Senate, our Congress and Senate can't get nothing right and agree on anything. How are they going to get this right? Do we expect them to fix college? Is that who we're saying is going to fix college sports? But that's what the NCAA wants. They want somebody else to take care of it. They've become a bunch of spineless business nerds that think that all they can do is let's stay away from anything that might get us in trouble. Let's not take a side. Let's just let everybody else fix all our problems. And so what we have here is something that it's not going to be sustainable. There's no way this continues the way it is and college sports continues to be what it is. Look at the spring practice numbers right now. No one is showing up for spring practice. It used to be a big deal to show up for. People would go up and take their families and show up for spring scrimmages and stuff like that. Do you know anybody talking about going to the spring scrimmage? No. I mean, you'd have to live in Northwest Arkansas and just not have anything to do that Saturday to head over there. No one's driving. I mean, I used to know people that would drive from South Arkansas to go up when Houston Nutt was coaching,
I
would
mean,
go up
and this isn't just an Arkansas thing. This is Alabama.
everywhere, everywhere, because people are going. They're like, I don't want to get to know these guys because some of them are going to leave after this game, and
But
so
and to my credit, I have been saying for how long I've been saying there is nothing more pointless in college football than high school recruiting.
yeah, yeah,
And I've said it because I sincerely believe it. Because you may get a handful of freshmen that are going to contribute. Well, you're going to have to go re-recruit them next year.
yeah. Not now, especially now. Yeah, I mean, it's totally gotten rid of the importance. I mean, look in basketball. I mean, Cal's one of the few that's actually trying for high school recruits. A lot of them, a lot of coaches, Musselman, he said, I'm going to take 2 a year after that year where he got those four guys, or was it five?
Yeah, we
And
got 3 times All-American, yeah.
yeah. And he was like, after that, he said, I'm not doing that again. And so now he decided to go, and that it didn't turn out so well for him, all that great, but still, I mean, it's changing so much of the sport, and what it's changing is the stuff that connects the fan to the players to the school. That's what it's changed. That's what it's affecting.
Travis, you got to be. It's much more than that. Because back in the day, families would plan vacations around whatever bowl game Arkansas went to.
Oh yeah,
Like, hey, baby, I guess we're going to vacation in Shreve.
yeah.
I mean, just you see what I'm saying? They would go to Shreveport. They're going to Florida. Let's go to Florida. And like how many times we went to the Cotton Bowl together when they played Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to make a trip 6 hours to Texas to go watch a bunch of backups play a bunch of backups.
Yeah.
Because the transfer portal has ruined that. There was one team last year that paid a backup $100,000 so they could have a quarterback for the game.
Yeah.
And to the kid's credit, I would have been like, yeah, I'd have done this for less.
Heck yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah.
And he got to put some tape, some play on tape to get him for another school later. But yeah, and now Clint, look, second, I blame his people. I blame Nico's people because they're not thinking of the kid first. They're thinking of the money. They're thinking of the money, the percentage they're going to get. Because a lot of these agents from work, I don't know from firsthand information. I'm just going by what's being reported by people that are getting firsthand
word
information.
on the street.
What they're saying is instead of getting 3 to 5% like the NFL guys get, or even less than that, most of them get 1 to 3% of a contract. For the NFL guys, they're getting like upwards of 20% for what these kids are signing for. And so what they're doing is they're trying to make money off this kid. And his dad, and his the parents being involved. I don't know their dad. I don't know Mr. Iamaleava. I don't know what kind of person he is, but my vision is he's kind of that little league dad that thinks that his kid should be the starting pitcher and starting shortstop all the time. I mean, that guy that thinks, all that stuff. Listen, Nico Iamaleava, Clint, had 9 passing touchdowns in SEC play. In 8 SEC games, he had 9 passing touchdowns. And he's wanting $4 million a year. He's wanting a raise.
Now, but here's the thing is, okay, you're making, let's say it was 2.2. You're making 2.2 at Tennessee. You can't go to an SEC school now.
No.
Like you can't. The SEC's closed off.
Not in the spring transfer portal. You can't transfer to SEC.
So you got to wonder. And now apparently a couple of California schools are like, no.
Well, and the rumor. And some people are saying, the rumor is that his people contacted Oregon to try to get the $4 million. Oregon called Josh Heupel and told him, hey, here's what your quarterback's doing. And they said no to him. Now, I saw something today. There were some rumors that uh, Ohio State's involved. They're trying to find Will Howard's replacement. Uh, Colorado's involved, and I forget who the other one was. But then I also heard that on the radio this afternoon that North Carolina with Bill Belichick may be involved. Um, that kind of surprises me. I figured Bill Belichick would hear what he did to Tennessee and think, I don't want to have anything to do with that kid. Uh,
Do you
now,
think Bill Belichick gives two craps about rah rah go team? Bill Belichick knows one thing. He goes, whoever's got the best Jimmys and Joes are most likely gonna win.
yeah,
You
but
know,
he don't want to deal with the drama that a guy like that could bring it because
he's
wherever he goes, do you think he's going to all of a sudden be everybody's favorite player?
yeah, no, and I agree. But here's the thing, Travis, and me and you, when you're a kid, when you're a 17 year, 18-year-old kid, and you're driving a 76 GMC pickup, and then it's 1994, and your buddies got a 1993 GMC Sierra fully maxed out with a CD changer, and you're driving your 76, you're a smidge jealous, right?
I was pretty happy with my 78 Ford, but
But you see where I'm getting.
yeah.
You're a little bit we're a little bit jealous.
Because folks, I outran a few of those 93.
Dude, I did it. I blew a head gasket. But anyway,
Mine was
so
fast.
fast. So, but the older you get, the more you deal with people having more than you, and
Yeah.
you're a little bit less jealous. But a lot of times you see what them get. It causes a division on the football team
Yeah.
because they're not used to dealing with that. So two things. One thing's got to happen. One or two things got to happen. You're gonna have to deal with contracts and contracts of length.
Yeah.
Because this is out of hand with these guys
Yeah.
just transferring. Like, okay, and then the spring portal window has got to close.
Yeah.
Because this is unfair to Tennessee because they went through the recruiting, they went through that process with the thought that this guy was going to be their quarterback.
Yeah.
And I don't care that it's Tennessee. It could have been anybody. I'd have felt the same way. This was unfair to Josh Heupel. This was unfair to because there's probably a wide receiver that transferred there thinking I'm going to be catching passes from Nico, and because he was a 5-star quarterback, and so now that bill of goods.
Well, and then Clint, there's also someone else that's unfair to. Tennessee, now they have a backup. They have a guy that they're really high on. There was a backup that people were saying was doing pretty well in practices. However, more than likely, they're going to be going into the portal and stealing somebody else's quarterback. They're going to be going out and taking a quarterback from another team. So not only it is bad for Tennessee, but what else can you do? It's the business now, right? Now you big boy power T Tennessee is now going to go take that guy that, maybe didn't get quite as much money as he thought but is pretty talented from another school because they got to fill their quarterback room now. They got to have another guy in their quarterback room, so they just have depth at quarterback.
Yeah.
So somebody else is going to lose over this, and so it's going to trickle down, And then that team, like say they go to someone that's a lower tier major, someone that's maybe not as big. Say I'm just saying, just say a Kansas, I don't know, somebody like that. Well, then they're going to go and get somebody else from a school that's smaller than them or that doesn't have quite the NIL they do. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
So it's going to have a trickle down effect to a lot of different people. And so that's the sad thing about it. It's going to have an effect. And look, once again, I think all three of those are to blame, and there may be some things Tennessee did wrong in this, but I think what if they did anything wrong, probably it's because their hands are tied because the NCAA jacked it all up from the get go.
No,
There's nothing they can do.
this entire NIL mess is 95 NIL transfer portal mess is 95% on the NCAA.
Yep.
95%.
Yep.
And I keep bringing them
Spineless.
to Rail Pryor.
Yeah.
Sold an autograph for tattoos.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you can't, well, and then the stupid freaking rule. This one makes no sense. And first of all, Terrell Pryor shouldn't even been punished because he signed his name. Like, if I walk in to a place and they go, hey, Clint, listen, they got an Arkansas Tech helmet there. So look, you can either get this for $200 or you can just sign this helmet and I'll give you this for free.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And that's essentially what he did. And they're like, and then they said, well, you can go and play the bowl game. You just can't play. You're just in the first game next year, something like that.
Yeah.
Like, just what sense does that make?
Yeah.
This is the type of idiots that are making these judgment calls.
Well, and I mean, another one, I mean, I know we've made fun of him a lot about it, but the Jameis Winston crab leg thing,
Yeah.
he goes in a grocery store. He knows the guy in the meat department, and the dude says, here, man, just take them. You can have them. So he takes them, and he gets punished for it. The guy gives him some free crab meat. Okay. And he all of a sudden, in the punishment, anyway, it's just, it's all kinds of crazy stuff out there like that. And so it's just sad to me. And, but anyway,
No, it is a mess. 110% NCAA's fault. The majority of it.
yeah,
Just, who they put in charge of the NCAA? Me and you.
for sure.
For
I'll sign up for it right now. Well, I'll take half of whatever the people is making doing it right now.
Yeah.
I'll take half of what they're getting paid.
Right. And look, and I'll take 25% of whatever's left. So
No,
Travis,
no, there's probably two guys at the top. They're probably making,
yeah, me and Travis will do half.
They're
of
probably
whatever.
making what, 5 million a piece or something like that.
I'll do it for two.
Yeah, I'll even go below that. Yeah, let's go.
Dude, I would
Go
help
2
me help
million.
you.
Yeah, and put some incentives in there.
Lane Kiffin, I'm gonna need to see you in my office.
That's right. Yeah, we had to. Let's go.
I'm not happy with you.
That's
Not
right.
happy
Yeah.
with you at all.
That's right. We'll go. Old school Trump. You fired. You fired. Giffen. Sorry.
I'll do. Yeah, there you go. I'll do Vince. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Do some Vince McMahon. Yeah. But
Boy.
no. Yeah. So anyway. Well, anyway. Past all that, Razorback football. Since we're talking a little football right now, 101 play scrimmage. I believe it was 101 play scrimmage Saturday. From the sound of it, wasn't all that impressive. Honestly, Taylor Green had a decent day. Receivers did okay. Running backs, Braylon Russell hurt his leg. He's going to be out the rest of the spring, which makes it a little scary. He's a guy that got hurt in high school, missed most of one season, gets hurt last year with a hamstring deal. They say it's not serious, that he'll be able to play the season, but they're going to sit him out the rest of the spring probably. Mike Washington had like an 11-yard run, and that was about it for him. Rodney Hill had a couple touchdowns and looked pretty good, they said, at running back. The defense did pretty good. There was one, apparently Sorey had a sack, which was pretty much he got in the vicinity of Taylor Green, and they called it dead. And then the next play intercepted a pass. And so,
yeah, and that's why I'm not reading too much into it, because when you're calling a scrimmage by the rules they're calling it by,
yeah,
you take away what makes Talon Green, Talon Green. Now the way they ran the ball was disappointed. I did hear they're doing that they're running a lot more 3-3-5
Yeah.
because I think that's pretty much they're feeling that's what the personnel lends it to. And you got to give it to T. Will. He's like, okay, what do I need to do to make this work? And
I
he's,
think a I think a big part of that is they feel good about the linebackers.
yeah.
So they want to get three linebackers out
Well,
there,
Sori's a man.
and they're worried about our D line a little bit. They're
Yeah,
worried about especially defensive end. And so, and in our defensive ends, we got some guys that can play that three-man front defensive end pretty well because they got, even like Quincy Rhodes is, he's what, 270, 280. So he can play that, because on a three-man defensive line, you want some guys with a little more girth to them, a little more
yeah.
size. And so, so that makes a little sense. I think that they ran a lot of that. And I'll tell you one thing that did kind of worry me. Sounded like our special teams wasn't so special. Our
Yeah, but
kicker missed some field goals. Now, a couple of them were long ones. Um, and then Shamar Easter blocked a punt. Now, part of that is okay, great, we blocked a punt. But every time there's a block punt, that means that people protecting it are on the same team and they screwed up. Okay.
you know what, Travis? It was practice.
It was practice. That's
It
right.
it was practice, and ain't freaking out by any of it yet.
No,
Uh,
no.
but it's
And
always
Scott Fountain did say that, Cam Little was 36% in his first scrimmage as
inside
a
the stadium.
kicker. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's got to be different kicking in the stadium like that,
Yeah.
for sure. But all in all, I think I'm excited about the team. I think they're starting to slowly figure it out, and I
Yeah.
think sounds like they feel comfortable with the offensive line.
Yeah.
Sounds like they feel comfortable with it. They've got enough that they're feeling good about the receivers.
Yeah.
Um, and I think the rest of it's going to come together. It's going to gel, and I think they're going to figure it out on defense.
Yeah.
I think Sori's going to be a man this year. I think he's going to be every bit of the 5-star linebacker he was coming out of high school. I think we saw a glimpse of it last year. I mean, you looked up and you
Yeah.
see number 10 all over the place.
Yeah.
So
I think you're right. I think well, all of our all of our linebackers are going to be special. I think that's they're very athletic. They got good size. So there's going to be some good things there. Well, Clint, you got some news this week. It's pretty big time.
yeah, I
It's
guess
very big time.
it is
In
big time.
fact, I got to go to the back to one of our favorite movies of all time and quote it, Wayne's World. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. And I'm
It,
saying that because my boy, Big C, the co host that's the most, anyway, is going to be inducted into the Arkansas Tech Hall of Fame.
well, there's a caveat to it. I'm not the only one going in.
well,
There's a few other guys going with me, but no,
I was trying to make it sound bigger and better.
no, and I do appreciate it.
I'd help you out.
There's a piece of me that's like, okay, I never was the guy to, in there blocking for the running back. I never did this. I never did. Like, if I was in the game, let's just be honest, we knew who was going to win.
Yeah, yeah.
The winner, I ain't saying we won every game I
The
played, but
decision was made.
the
Yeah,
decision was made. They knew who was taking the W, and we knew who was taking the L.
yeah,
Uh, but at the same time, they're inducting the entire 1999 Gulf South Conference championship team. Um, thank you very much. I appreciate it. A few fun facts about that team was number one, we started off 1-2.
Mm.
Um, and we went on an 8-game winning streak, culminating beating Southern Arkansas
The
at
Mule Riders. I was at that game.
in overtime at Burkle Field in Thone Stadium.
Yeah.
there in Russellville, Arkansas. And then we lost to Carson Newman in the first round of the playoffs. Two of our losses, Carson Newman and Northwest Missouri State, played for the national title. No, keep in mind, I'm going to gladly ride my teammates' coattails into the Hall of Fame. I'm comfortable with that. But I will say, Arkansas Tech, I doubt anyone with any stroke listen to this podcast. But I'm going to name three names that were on that offense. Josh Price needs to be in the Hall of Fame alone. So does Ed Duncan. Josh Price out of BB, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Ed Duncan out of Morrilton, Arkansas. Little known fact, me and Ed Duncan were in Coach Hollingsworth's office at the same time, talking about, coming in to play football for Tech. Ed worked out a little bit better than I did, but we were both there. And Todd Matthews, El Capitano, or starting All-American left guard. Them three guys, and I could name more guys on defense that should be, but them three guys off the offense for sure, no doubt, should be in the Hall of Fame on their own.
Yeah.
Now, Todd did his credit, and I told him in text message that I'm like, you should be going in by yourself. And he was like, man, I'm just happy the team's going in before any individual. Because it was a true team in the truest sense of the word, and it's hard to tell the story without that team, without some of my shenanigans, being all around. I always try to just be an all around good guy to have around, and hopefully that's what I'm remembered for. Definitely wasn't my performance on the field.
It's a cool honor, man. That's cool stuff. So congratulations on that.
But you will now refer to me as Hall of Famer Big C.
Yeah. Hall of Famer. It's and now it's a Hall of Fame podcast.
Hall of Fame podcast endorsed by Paul Feinbaum.
That you need to like, share, comment, subscribe to, folks. Share it with everybody. Share it on the social media.
They need to know.
When you see us post it, then you go and repost it. That's all you got to do. Just say share, like on Facebook, Bookface, whatever. Share it. Instagram, reshare it, all that stuff. We need you. We need you, folks. Well, Clint, happy Easter. It's a great week. Beautiful weather. Is it hot down there?
It is definitely warm.
Yeah, it's warming up here. It's that time of year where, like, these temperatures will be, like, we would love to have them later on in the year.
Right, yeah.
But right now they feel super hot just because we're not used to this kind of heat yet, Once we get used to it, we're like, man, I wish it was 85 again, or whatever. So anyway, but folks, have a great week. Continue to support, like, share, all that stuff. This Hall of Fame podcast. Step it up in the world, baby. We out.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard ground so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come.